Hey, people often ask me this question. How did you know you were going to be a Reiki practitioner? Or like what guided you, or what was your, like, how did you know this was going to be like a calling for you? So I always wanted to tell this story, and now I'm going to tell the story. It's pretty cool and unique. When I tell it to people, they're like, ooh, wow, that's interesting. So here's the story. It's crazy. Um, at the time, I had a boyfriend, and it was Valentine's Day, and we went to a beautiful, like, Valentine suite in St. Catharines, Ontario, and we had a nice weekend, and we did a lot of, Valentine's Day, right? A lot, like a lot, like a lot. And anyways, previous to that night, I was a makeup artist and I did eyelash extensions. Plus, I had my own course and training, and I certified people for eyelash extensions. That was my life. Was not spiritual, really. Kind of, I was always kind of seeking, but anyways. And that night, and then at one point, he was laying down with his head. I was sitting, he was laying down with his head kind of like at my thighs, and I was giving him a little face, because I was an esthetician, so I was giving him a little face massage and that, and all of a sudden I stopped touching his face, and my hands were hovering above his face and above his head, and I was just like, had my hands here, and I could feel stuff, like I could feel things from him. And this, I don't know how long this happened. I felt like I was in a trance. I started to pick up his energy. I started to pick up his past. I started to pick up his trauma. I didn't know what his trauma was, but I could feel the trauma to the point where I was crying. And I knew it was like dark, very, very, very dark. I felt powerful enough to ask it to leave. So I started asking it to leave and leave him. And I wasn't touching him. I never touched him. And his body was writhing, like his body was like writhing, and he started crying. We had no communication. I wasn't even touching him. This went on for, I don't know how long, because when you're in that type of a trance, you don't know how long that was. When it finished, we both kind of like looked at each other like, okay, well, what do we do now? Like, let's go. And anyways, the next morning when I woke up, my eyes were sealed shut. I couldn't open my eyes. I thought I had pink eye. Didn't have pink eye. Didn't have a cold, didn't have a sinus infection, didn't have anything. My eyeballs were sealed shut. I couldn't open my eyelids. Like, my eyelashes were stuck. And so I went to the washroom, and I'm like, this is happening. And so I put like cold compresses on my eyes, and eventually my eyelids opened. And then that was a thing. And then we went back and sat down, and we looked at each other about last night. We just kind of like looked at each other. This was the first time we spoke. We were like, so what was that? What was that? I remember he was like, my girlfriend's a witch. I'm like, I have no idea. Something happened. Something from you needed to release that was very not good. And let's just continue with our day. Weekend. So then after that, so his roommate was a former priest / Reiki master. And so I thought, I'm going to reach out to him and ask him what that was. He might know. So I reached out, and as soon as he asked me like 2-3 questions, he's like, were your hands hot? Were your hands hovering? I'm like, yeah. And he said, that's Reiki. I'm like, Reiki? That's Reiki. He's like, yeah, you were vibing. Like, that was Reiki coming out of you. That's pretty significant. So anyways, I bought this book about Reiki, and then the book came in, And I looked at it and went to the pictures of like where your hands, like how you place your hands. And I intuitively was placing my hands exactly in the manual of how you're supposed to place your hands for Reiki. Okay, I mentioned I was an eyelash teacher. I taught and certified people for eyelash extensions. I drove up to Collingwood the next weekend, and when I arrived in this person's aesthetic studio, I walked into her treatment room, and as soon as I walked in, on the wall was a Reiki practitioner certification on her wall. I'm like, boom, Reiki right in the face. I'm like, oh, so you do Reiki? Oh, okay. Okay, let's teach you eyelashes. Then that was crazy. And then I said, okay, let's do it. Let's get Reiki level 1. So I found someone in Toronto that was going to certify me and my daughters. So I thought, let's do it together. Let's do it as a family. It'll be really fun. They agreed. They thought it would be fun. Great. And then the night before we did our Reiki level 1, me and my daughters, we were reading I don't know why we were reading my old dream journals, but we were reading my old dream journals and we're laughing at some of them. They're crazy. They're like cray. Anyways, one of them said, this was the dream. This is what I wrote. I was standing in my kitchen and there were flames coming from my palms. This is powerful. You are powerful. Period. That was the night before we went to get our Reiki level 1. And Reiki is all about energy coming from your palms, heat coming from your palms. This was in the 90s. This was a long time ago. The dream journal entry. 90s, early 90s, maybe late 80s. Anyways, yeah. That definitely was a calling. But yeah, interesting. It's not just like, hey, I want to get my Reiki. I want to see what. No, this is a whole story of the universe. The universe going, hello. We've been trying to get in touch with you since the early 90s. Let's go. Hello. Palms are on fire. Hello, you're not awake yet. Okay, let's wait another 10 years. Okay, you want to be a makeup artist and eyelash extension teacher. Okay, good. You do that. But guess what? We need you to be a Reiki teacher. We need you to do what your soul mission is here on earth. And that's hope you like my story. I wanted to share that. And so if you're thinking of doing this yourself and this video found you for some reason, you feel aligned, you can always reach out to me and chat about it. I would be so open for that. Bless.